A banker, an interior designer, and a plumber walked into court. And if you're waiting for the punchline, so are we. The three were called in as witnesses on day 5 of Najib Razak's SRC International trial to talk about the money found in the former Prime Minister's bank accounts.
Aras 5.
By the Malaysian Insight, this is The People versus Najib Razak. Follow us into the courtroom where it all happens. I'm Patrick Teo. Just a quick note, this podcast series is meant to be enjoyed in chronological order. So if you've just dropped in on this episode, please listen to the first episode to follow the trial as it unfolds. Today, there was no welcoming committee to greet Najib. Today he was dressed in a dark blue suit with a red tie with circles on it. As usual, he had his 2 books and the yellow cushion. But Najib had no time to read at all as court started on the dot at 9 a.m. The prosecution called their 5th witness, Badrul Hisham Muhammad, to the stand. He was a check processing officer at AmBank Islamic for nearly 2 decades. He explained to the court that only current accounts owners and companies can issue checks, and they must be signed by the owner or authorized signatories. The prosecution then showed Badrul 17 checks for him to verify. Let's hear more from Yvonne in court.
Yvonne, can you tell us more about those 17 checks?
Okay, the checks amounted to more than 30.8 million ringgit. I won't list all of them, but there were 2 payments to Ihsan Perdana. One was 20 million ringgit on December 14, 2014. Another one for 103,361 ringgit and 17 cents on March 9, 2015. And as you know, Ihsan Perdana is the CSR partner for SRC. The checks were issued from 4 accounts. 2 of them were Najib's personal funds and 2 other company accounts. They knew that it was from a company because it had 2 signatures.
Right. So throughout all this, what was Najib doing?
Najib sat blank-faced and occasionally slouched, resting his elbow on his knees. When the court took a 10-minute break, Najib quickly stood up and made a beeline for the door.
It turned out Najib went to the canteen on the lower ground floor to grab a quick bite. He had some pastries and a cup of coffee. When court resumed, it was defense lawyer Havinderjit Singh's turn to question Badrul, delving deeper into the check issuing process. After more than an hour of cross-examination, Havinderjit asked Badrul to get documents that confirms the info on the checks they went through, including those tied to Najib's AmBank accounts. Court broke for lunch, and Najib skipped the canteen and left the court as he had done since the first day. The first order of business after lunch was to discuss postponing tomorrow's trial, which both sides agreed upon as they have prior engagements. Justice Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali granted the application. Trial will resume on Monday, April 22nd. Then 6th prosecution witness Zulkarnain Mohammed took the witness stand. A war of words over the relevance of his testimony ensued. The defense argued that the trial involved taking, not receiving money. Attorney General Tommy Thomas, who only entered the courtroom after lunch, countered and said, quote, "If we cannot call witnesses, the case will be stymied," unquote. After about 45 minutes of back and forth, Justice Nazlan ruled in the prosecution's favor. Here is Ravin, our other court correspondent, telling us about Zulkarnain, whom he says speaks really fast.
Ravin, who's the Zulkarnain guy?
He owns a kitchen cabinet company called ABS Trendmaster. He told the court he built a store, pantry, a rack and a store cabinet for Najib's house in Langgaduta. Well, this is an upscale neighborhood close to the city centre, yeah? He was paid 100,000 ringgit using a cheque for the work done and he banked it in at Maybank Setia Alam. He claimed he even gave a 50% discount for the work done. Najib's lawyer, Shafi Abdullah, then asked him if he knew who the closet was for. He said he didn't know. He told the court that he only worked when Najib was not at home.
As he was testifying, several of Najib's supporters walked into the courtroom. Among them were Najib's former press secretary, Tengku Sarifuddin Tengku Ahmad, and UMNO Supreme Council member, Lokman Nur Adam. The prosecution did not re-examine Zulkarnain. They called in a new witness, Muhammad Zakaria from MOZ Sendirian Berhad, a plumbing company. According to Ravin, he's a really funny guy.
Zakaria did some plumbing work for Najib at his Langgaduta house. He was paid 56,500 ringgit by check. This was one of the 17 checks verified by Badrul this morning. He was quite the joker. When prosecutor Saifuddin asked him whether Najib ada tak, Zakaria replied, "Tu, ada dekat belakang." What the prosecutor meant was if Najib was at home while he was doing the work, not whether he was present at the court. This made everyone in the courtroom laugh. Even Najib, who is usually expressionless, was smiling.
And on that note, proceedings ended for the day. Najib made his way to his black sedan without any drama, unlike yesterday. He did, however, stop to shake hands with witness number 7, Zakaria. Our next episode will be on Monday, April 22nd. This podcast is produced, written and mixed by Revati Supramaniam, Yapik Kwan and Yvonne Lim. Additional reporting by Beat Hong and Timothy Acharyam. Other recordings from the court are by Ravin Palanisamy, Jeremy Singh and Hasmiza Hassan. I'm Patrick Teo.